What's up, Sean?
Greetings, Edgerenka. Greetings, viewers. You're right. A number of hot stories. Some probably too hot to handle at this point. But I can tell you that in terms of electrical supply, the BVI in the next 18 to 24 months, I am advised, can look forward to no more load shedding, no more blackouts, and a consistent supply of electrical power across the territory. For all islands, I'm advised.
Well, that's good news.
It is good news. And this we learned on Monday with the groundbreaking ceremony for the BVI Electricity Corporation's Phase 5 development program in Pockwood Pond at the Pockwood Pond Power Station. In fact, you may have seen on a JTV News Update story this week that the power station in Longbush will soon be retired. And as the Communications and Works Minister and 4th District Representative Honorable Vanderpool said, he is happy for that because he doesn't want any more noise in the 4th District. But I want to draw your attention to something that the Communications and Works Minister, Honorable Mark Vanderpool, said at that particular groundbreaking ceremony that is quite significant as well. And him and other speakers alluded to this, that the BVI EC's Phase 5 development program has implications, or it actually works in tandem with all other infrastructural projects in the territory. And as the Communications Minister says, the government is spending in excess of $150 million to improve the territory's infrastructure. Let's hear him in this clip as he makes the case.
But I want you to know that the $100 million that you heard recently talked about to put us in fear is more than $100 million. We are spending approximately $15 million in sewage. We are spending approximately $5 million in water. Between the CDB program and the recent roads program, we are spending about $40 million on roads. We are about to invest here about $37 million in electricity generating power. And before we finish with the cruise pier development and all the surrounding aspects that we are adding into it in the city and in the historical sites that we are about to improve, we would have spent about $60 million. So the $100 million is not 100, it's $157 million for infrastructure in the territory. Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a clap for the government of Dr. D. Orlando Smith, who is trying to improve the territory of the Virgin Islands for the people of the Virgin Islands.
Communications Minister Edgerenka.
Well, yes, certainly it's a lot of money, and it bodes well for the economy, because when you have money circulating in the economy, as long as we keep it circulating here and spend it locally, everybody gets to touch it, and the quality of life improves, and people start to make money and they start feeling better about themselves, and so the whole country is on the road to prosperity. So that's certainly a good injection of capital development. So we're looking forward to that. I'm wondering, when it comes to electricity, what portion of that is going to be spent on alternative sources of energy? That seems to be the big issue right now, how we could wean ourselves off fossil fuels at a time when
the price per barrel is low now, but it's expected to rise again.
Well, the thing is that we don't want to get trapped in that cycle of hoping that it stays low and only to find it rise again. Then we try to rush to get alternative source of energy. Then it comes down again. Then we stop the aggressiveness to get the alternative sources, and we get into this cycle of watching oil prices. I think we should go ahead and get the alternative sources of energy, wean ourselves off of fossil fuels, and eventually the solar energy particularly, and wind energy and turbine energy would pay for itself. It might not pay for it as soon as we would like to, but eventually it'll pay for itself, and eventually the cost of energy would go down and stabilize, and we would be able to predict our economic growth based on the energy supply that we have.
Well, some movement has been, in fact, there is some progress already, because we noticed during the fourth, going into the fifth, I think it's the fourth sitting of the House of Assembly, the legislation governing electricity supply in the territory was amended, allowing for private citizens and corporations to install solar energy devices and equipment, and even sell excess energy back to the BVI Electricity Corporation to have that provide energy via the national grid. So I suspect that internally much work is going on, because the communications minister did say as well that over the next 10 years or so, they're hoping to introduce more, well, at least cleaner energy, particularly as it relates to the BVIEC standpoint. And he was referring to the use of, I'm not sure if it will be shale oil or if it will be propane, but what it's going to be, I'm sure, will be less harmful to the environment based on what he's saying. But of course, these things take time. As he pointed out in a clip I heard him commenting earlier, the government didn't want to take the risk or run the risk of using a renewable source at this point, fearing that they may not have that expertise and the reliability of the service to ensure that the electrical supply is sustained using an alternative source.
Well, certainly the technology is available. The price for the equipment is coming down.
I agree. Yes.
we are getting more and more savvy when it comes to
Yes.
dealing with the solar energy, particularly in the wind turbine energy. So, I'm hoping that we would move aggressively.
Well, I heard
to switch over.
The manager of the BVI Electricity Corporation, Mr. Leroy Abraham, saying that this is no child's play, and he was commenting on the process leading up to the actual groundbreaking ceremony for this particular Phase 5 development program, which involves the introduction of 2 new 8 MW or Wärtsilä generators and a new control room, and the installation of 2 additional transmission cables from Parkwood Pond and into Rotong, and also improvement to the line going over to Virgin Gorda. So basically, I gather from him that much of these things involve long-term discussions, planning, and he did mention as well that there is a electricity research document that is guiding much of the implementation of what we are seeing.
Well, we look with good news.
Good news, no more blackouts.
Yeah, we're looking forward to us not having any more blackouts. I still going to have my standby generator. So, we're looking forward to that. Yeah, so
Yes.
that's a good report there, Sean. And of course, next week we'll have some more of the action.
Yes, because we're breaking ground for the Iris O'Neill Clinic on Virgin Gorda on Monday, and of course there are other things coming up this weekend. We're looking at the arrival of Carnival Cruise Lines as we get ready to put that new cruise pay extension into use, pretty much.
That's right. A lot is happening in the country. It's a lot of things. So the country's on the move.
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to discuss. Thanks for that report.
Most welcome.